In this video, we'll explore multiplying decimals. Now, when we multiply decimals, we first multiply them as if there is no decimals in the problem. Then we're going to count how many digits are to the right of each decimal place for all numbers in our product. Then, with our final solution, we're going to start in the rightmost place value, and we're going to move that decimal to the left how many times we counted in step 2. So with this value down here, I'd first act like I'm just multiplying 132 times 54. So I'd get 8, 12, carry the 1, 528. Then I'm going to multiply everything by the 5. So I bring down my 0. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 15 plus 1 is 16, carry the 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. I add them together, I get 7,128. Now I have to pay attention to my decimal place. And if I look, I have 1, 2, 3 values that are all to the right of decimal places from my product. So I put my decimal place, and I'm going to move it 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3. So my final solution would be 7 and 128 thousandths. Now if I'm not sure where that decimal should be, I can always estimate. So let's look back at my product I just had. 1 and 32 hundredths times 5 and 4 tenths. Now I know that these values, I can look around and say, what are the numbers that are around them? So I can say 1, if I rounded it down, would be 1. And if I round 5 and 4 tenths down, it'd be 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Now say I decide to look instead and round up. So I could take 1 and 32 and just make that a 2. Make 5 and 4 tenths 6. 2 times 6 is 12. What that tells me is that when I multiply 1 and 32 hundredths times 5 and 4 tenths, the number should be between 5 and 12. And that's going to limit all my options I have for where my decimal place should be. Because if I know my solution, originally before I moved my decimals, was 7,128, now I'm going to look at my decimal places as to where they could be and say which of my numbers falls between 5 and 12. And only one option will. And that's 7 and 128 thousandths. Now how do we determine how that happens? So let's look at a new problem. 1 and 325 thousandths times 2 and 68 hundredths. Let's rewrite each decimal as an improper fraction. So this will become 1,325 over 1,000 because I'm using my place value with my decimals, and this will be 268 over 100. Now if I change those to products of 10 instead of looking at 1,100, I'd end up with 1,325 over 10 times 10 times 10, and then 268 over 10 times 10. Now when I multiply my fractions, I'd end up with my large value at the top, 355,100, and then it's divided by 5 tens. Now if we remember from previous sections, when I divide by 10, all I'm doing is shifting my decimal place, and that's where this becomes so easy. So I say I'm dividing by 5 tens, so I'm going to have to move my decimal place 5 times to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my answer becomes 3 and 551 thousandths.